and welcome back, everybody. This is Tom Laguerre with Intellisys, Solutions Engineer for the Midwest. Welcome back because we're here for a longer session with AT&T, Ariaka, and Extreme Networks to talk about optimized connectivity and networking today. We're going to have a chance to dive a little deeper into that technology topic, and I want to welcome back our panelists. First of all, Jackie Steinberg, our National Channel Manager with AT&T, Olin Scott, Channel Chief at Ariaka, and Perry Coral, Director of Product Marketing at Extreme Networks. So thank you all for returning with us today. So we're going to have a chance to go a little deeper, and with optimized connectivity and networking is such an overwhelming topic. That's communications and carrier right there in a nugget. And right now we're in this global pandemic and global folks working from home everywhere due to COVID-19. And we had a chance during our first session to talk a little bit about the technologies and the products and optimized networking, but now we're going to have a chance to go a little deeper. So I'm going to shake this up a little bit. Let me reach out to you first today, Perry, from Extreme Networks. I know Extreme has a long history with ScanSource, and you provide premise-based devices of all types. You have cloud solutions as well. Tell me a little bit more about what are some of those primary components that you offer from both a LAN and a WAN perspective, and some of the COVID-19 and work from home applications.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate it. And as you said, Extreme has a very vast portfolio, everywhere from, the wireless edge all the way to the data center, and then management functionalities that sit on top, whether it's on-premise or whether it's in the cloud. As far as COVID right now, dealing with the COVID issues right now, the biggest thing that we see is agility and flexibility, and that's one of the things that the cloud enables. Cloud enables me to connect anybody from wherever they happen to be. So once again, if they're in a building, great, I can do that. But if they're working at home, I can also do that also. One of the other things that is very, very important today to leverage a cloud is the enormous amount of data it can maintain. And that's very, very important because as we go forward, it's not just connectivity, but it's also getting us back into the office spaces, getting us back in. And that's with occupancy management and be able to monitor the environment and be able to trace where people went. Where were they 30 days ago, 60 days ago, 90 days ago, and do I need to know that? So the whole idea is that we're really focused on cloud-centric management, not only to deploy devices, but also be able to gather the data analytics to be able to make insights on when it's safe to go back to the office.
Thank you very much, Perry. I'm gonna shake this up a little bit. I'm gonna go to Olin right now from Ariaka. Thank you again for coming back today, Olin. When it comes to global networks, Ariaka has a strong reputation for its low latency, high performance global networks. And on our first session, we had a chance to talk a little bit about application level intelligence. However, we also know that Ariaka has some options now for smaller customers. It isn't always just the global customers. Can you tell us a little bit about that and some of the work from home applications?
Yeah, sure. So the work from home, I'm going to go backwards if that's okay, the other way around, which is I'll talk about work from home first, and just simply to say that our new regional offerings, which is what you're referencing, they don't diminish any of the work from home. All of the work from home, we call it secure remote access, right? Functionality that exists in the global offering that you've all come to know and love is all there in the regional offering as well. And effectively what we did just about maybe 90 days ago, was just to give our solution more applicability to the enterprise customer, was we decoupled certain of the elements that make the product so special, right? People call us all the time to solve these application performance issues, and it's because we have this private layer 2 core, it's because we have our own WAN ops stack, right? We have these different things. We have all of the different SaaS and cloud platforms interconnected at dozens of points across the globe, not just one in North America and one in APAC as a for instance, right? So what we basically did was we broke that up and we made them all available at, let's say, a la carte at the site level. So that now your customer that has 102 sites, right, but 100 of them are sitting here in North America, instead of hiring us for those two, they're able to use us for all those other 100 and go, look, I don't need all of that other secret sauce. And these, internet's great. We have a great internet ecosystem in North America. That'll get the job done for me. And what
Sure.
it simplifies it for our customer because now it's one vendor. Right?
You got it. Okay, thank you. And let me take a very similar, maybe a little bit of a twist on that question to Jackie at AT&T. Thank you again for joining us from AT&T, Jackie. And AT&T obviously has a very deep and broad portfolio. But when our sales partners come to AT&T with a networking opportunity, what are some of the products in your portfolio that you offer for these multi-location, domestic and global enterprise customers?
Thank you for that. And to piggyback on Perry's comments there about working from home and SD-WAN, we have a slew of products in our portfolio. I think a couple of the really good relevant ones right now would be the global security gateway. Obviously, we're all vulnerable to, those spammers out there. There's a lot of threat, and that's probably the number one concern that the most firms have right now. So that's a really good product. It's web and cloud security for today's mobile workforce. We're also doing some spiffs on it and some free trials. Also, SD-WAN over the top, call forwarding, very basic ones that everybody's using right now. WebEx meetings. I really like our new thermal detection and video intelligence products. We actually just rolled that out a couple weeks ago. It's thermal energy cameras. It's an access platform, and it does everything you need for, to measure social distancing monitoring, temperature scanning between 3 to 10 feet away, so it's non-invasive. Takes about a half a second to take a reading, which is really cool. Also, just to monitor hand washing and how long an employee has been washing their hands and occupancy. So there's a lot of those really, really relevant products that we have out there, and our portfolio is huge. So we've got everything you need.
I think, Tom, to continue along and going along with this, what the points that we were just made, there's a lot of, we talked about IoT for years, and this COVID-19 is actually launching that because you got scanners, you've got temperature sensors, you have all this other stuff. And so it's important to be able to onboard those devices. So there's a lot of things happen at the same time that's kind of pushing the technology forward. One of the things that we saw was a real big deal is everybody's working at home. We know that it's nothing new and ever, but the companies that have bought from us for a long, long time, they say, yeah, I'm buying your access points, but this person that's working at home, he can't set up an access point. So we got a little access point that's only 2 by 2 inches square, plugs into the electric socket in the wall and automatically connects to the router from wherever it go home. And so they don't have to do anything on site. So not only were we able to support these IoT devices that are showing up, you don't have to have an IT skills to actually get it up at home. So kind of an important thing as we go forward.
So we got the video, we got the access point. Olin, bring it home for us on the connectivity and recognizing that traffic flow.
Yeah, absolutely. So what our solution does is, because it's not a VPN client, what our solution does is it takes the remote access and it does all of the same application acceleration or WAN op for the work from home or remote user that it does for those customers that are sitting in their office, right? Because we don't think everybody's going back to the office, right? There's a lot of, right now, this is all conjecture, right? But I mean, real estate is the second largest operating expense that any enterprise in America has next to people, right? So what these companies, and this, we're hearing a lot of this part isn't conjecture, but it's still anecdotal. What we're hearing a lot of is we're functioning as well as we were in the office. If that's true, why would you ever go back to the office and pay all that real estate? So I think, we hear that term new normal. This is a heavy dose this we think is going to stick around. So these work from home and these remote user acceleration tools, they're going to be hyper relevant.
I agree. Everything's going to be hyper relevant. And I'm just going to bring this back from a global perspective to working from home strictly within the United States and having SD-WAN possibly at home offices like we've never seen before. And SD-WAN, it's small enterprise businesses that haven't deployed it yet. Let me go to Jackie, AT&T. I've heard a lot about ACC business lately, and what are some of the changes you have there for SD-WAN and making it available for partners that aren't aware of that yet?
I'm so glad you asked that question, Tom. It's really important, first of all, to mention that we've completely redesigned our channel team. We've integrated ACC and Alliance resources under one umbrella, so you're dealing with one channel team the entire time, no matter what product you're selling. And so we're giving the partners a way to do business the way they want to do it, right? So you can choose to team with our account management team, or you can choose non-team, which is basically ACC. What that does is just exclusive to the channel. So there's no direct, there's no teaming. It's all on AT&T's global network. It's billing and support from ACC, and very competitive residuals. Hopefully everybody knows about it. It pays a little bit more, which is great. But the cool part is that we did just announce that on June 5th, we are launching SD-WAN on ACC paper. So that's super exciting, easy to price. It's very strong. It's built for the channel, Asian only. There's nothing, there's no worries about protected accounts or deal registration or NSP approval. So we're excited to launch that.
Would work from home users be eligible for that as well? Is that an SD-WAN product that can be used in a home office?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our SD-WAN on demand, yep. And
Thank you.
And SD on demand, absolutely.
Tom, that's very important.
Right.
Tom, it's very important. You said every one of us, including yourself, has said SD-WAN several times. And it's a very important to understand, and maybe you might look at it semantics, maybe not, but there's 1,000 different VPNs you could get that at home you could connect back into a source. But SD-WAN is kind of a little bit different. The way I look at it, the way we look at it is like, the VPN is providing remote connectivity to anywhere, where an SD-WAN, we kind of look at as I'm extending the enterprise out to the edge. So I can apply my policies out there. I can apply my security rules out there. I just don't have a VPN client that maybe I have a small firewall at the edge. I'm actually able to apply my services right out to the edge. So whether they come back or not, whether they're sitting in a cubicle in the building or whether they're sitting, in their pink bunny slippers at home, they're going to have the same level of services at that point. And that's what's going to enable the CFOs to go, maybe I don't need to fill all these buildings.
Right. Maybe we don't. And this is a perfect discussion leading right into a question I want to ask you, Olin, for Aryaka, because we're talking about SD-WAN, we're talking about VPNs, we're talking about many different ways of connectivity. But I recently heard this term of something you just launched called any WAN. What is that? And how can we use that in this work from home environment?
Candidly, when we talk about any WAN, anywhere, it's more of a tagline associated with that regional offer that we were talking about earlier, right? Which is, customers, interesting, without being too detailed, I promise, we just got back our State of the WAN results for our survey for 2020, 1,000 respondents. So really really statistically relevant information from your partner's user community, right? The customer community. And they said the number one thing they're trying to eliminate is complexity. It was the single highest WAN priority in 2020 over pricing and app performance and everything else was complexity, right? And so customers want to use Aryaka, but they don't want to pay us what they've been used to paying us to solve their application performance issues internationally. And so, because what a lot of our customers had was Aryaka for China, South Africa, Middle East, India, and then some solution that was good enough where we have this great internet ecosystem in North America. So we solved that, right, by kind of decoupling the solution and making them not buy the entire Rolls Royce for North America. And so frankly, the way we've been out there marketing it to the community now is just like, look, any WAN, every WAN, we have a solution that makes sense and that is right-sized for the customer.
Okay, thank you. And I wanted to ask Perry, BYOH. I hadn't actually heard that term. And bring your own home office. And what kind of mobile, small home office type of solutions have you seen happening during this time of lockdown?
Well, first of all, different people have different ideas of what a home office is. If you're an SE and a very techie guy, you might have a bigger network at home than some medium-sized enterprises do. So it depends on what size you're actually dealing with. But as I said before, we have a very small one, really designed for a single room, plug and play, nothing to do with it. Or obviously you could put a full-blown router and some switches and some functionality out there. But once again, most of the end users, they don't want to know about VPNs or, what MPLS or what time. They just want it to work. They just want it to plug in and operate. And so to point several people have made, it's got to be, simple. It's got to be easy to use, what we call effortless, because it's very, very complex. People aren't going to do it. So the whole idea is I plug it in, it'll automatically, as I said, some guy in pink bunny slippers configure it somewhere in Ottumwa, Iowa, and the stuff just comes up and starts working. And that's what's going to make it successful at home.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Jackie, we only had a chance to briefly touch on this in our first session, and I wanted everybody to get a chance to hear from everybody on maybe some customer use cases or case studies, and what some of the solutions you've been able to provide to our customers during this work from home environment that we're in. Any case studies or interesting applications you've seen?
Yes, I think the most important one to mention is our FirstNet solution. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically class of service for first responders on AT&T's network. So it's the only nationwide high-speed broadband communication platform just dedicated to those first responders. It's extended to the public and safety community also. But really what that team did during this pandemic was awesome. They basically put to 76 deployable cell sites available to these first responders at no additional cost. So those can be turned up if there's a pandemic, if there's any kind of an emergency, they can be turned up whenever and wherever they're needed within minutes. So that's something we're really, really proud of. One other thing I wanted to bring up again is, which was really cool, you probably saw in the national news, is that the U.S. Navy ship Mercy, within an hour of it docking in the southern coast of California, our construction and engineering team installed and activated a 1 gig land-to-ship connection. So they were able to have connectivity for that hospital ship and get everybody working and getting those first responders and emergency people on and connected. So those are pretty cool things. We also have the video intelligence IoT platform that I talked about.
Right.
And robots are doing people's jobs right now too, using those UV lights to kill germs. Restocking shelves, cleaning. So those are some of the use cases.
To Olin, if you same question, Olin.
I mean, I could give you 100 use cases. All of our use cases are all around applications, right? So as you can imagine, the last 2 months, I don't want to liken it to shooting fish in a barrel, right? But think about what went first was UCaaS and collaboration platforms. Well, what are some of the most latency sensitive and performance sensitive applications that are out there? And some of them are a little premature to name. We issued a big press release around World Fuel Services, right? It was, I think the number 50 or 52 on the Global 2000, right? Listen, so big enterprise customer that had to do basically with cloud-based applications. They were moving all their applications to the cloud. MPLS didn't seem to make a lot of sense anymore because everything was hairpin, right? And it was experiencing that kind of performance. You can only throw so much bandwidth at that problem. So they wanted to go to a cloud-centric underlay that wasn't internet, right? That wasn't internet because it comes with its own share of problems.
Thank you. And Perry, I am definitely going to give you a turn here. Customer use cases, interesting actual applications, practical applications you've seen during this lockdown period that Extreme has been able to provide for customers.
Yeah, Tom, absolutely. And, everybody and their brother wants remote access, which obviously we understand that. But we had an existing customer, a very, very large hospital that called up. And the first thing they said is, we need to set up a triage tent out in the parking lot. We don't want to bring people inside the emergency room and then decide whether they have it. So I need that set up. Out at that site, I've got to have sensor connectivity. I've got a tablet connectivity. I have to have Wi-Fi. I do not want any IT people out there. And by the way, we need it yesterday. So what we actually did is we came out with this kit that we called a ROC. Remote outdoor connectivity kit, and the whole idea is I got an outdoor antenna on the building. I put another AP out at the edge. I connected into a switch out there, and I turned it on. They just wheel a card out there, and basically we had a little note that plugged the blue cable into the port number 1, and you're up and running. No IT involved, all plug and play type functionality. That way IT doesn't interfere with them, and obviously it's a lot safer out there. So that was one thing that we were able to turn around in a couple of days. So it was something we were very proud of, and it was existing kit. So,
thank you very much. We are coming to a close, so I just wanted to get a closing statement from each of you. Again, I want to thank you for coming today. It was great to have a chance to go deeper with all of your companies. Olin, let's let you go first here. Just any final parting words on this whole topic of global optimized connectivity and networking and how it affects users.
Yeah, thank you. So the tailwind for SD-WAN for a couple of years now has been the proliferation of cloud compute, right? Cloud compute just got about the largest shot in the arm that it could possibly get over the last 60 days when everybody left their offices, right? And left all their servers and everything else and went home to work. So what we see is that ramp, right? That hockey stick for cloud compute growing like crazy and we maintain like we have for the last 10 years that MPLS and internet are not the only two underlay solutions out there, right? One of those two is not always the right solution, and that's where Ariaka comes in.
Jackie, AT&T, final parting words, comments, anything around global connectivity, optimized connectivity and solutions?
Yeah, absolutely. Just wanted to bring up again our broad portfolio. I think we have something around 3,400 products out there. There's something for every customer, every channel partner. I really wanted to bring up also the SD-WAN on ACC paper that's coming out. That's going to be a game changer for our business partners and our channel partners. And then, you know, that's the fact that we're in over 200 countries with VPN, internet, Ethernet. You know, everybody knows AT&T, so come to us and come to your channel teams, and we'll help you out and handhold.
Thank you. And Perry, last but not least, and thank you for joining us. Any final parting words? Global connectivity, optimized connectivity for our end customers.
Yeah, definitely optimize. I'm going to go ahead with the cloud management type functionality because it just opens up so much opportunity. It's scalable beyond belief. So obviously, when we went from hundreds of people working at home to millions of people working at home, it was able to scale at that point. We build our platform, what's called a 4th generation cloud. If you want it on AWS, if you want it on Google, if you want it on Azure, if you want it in a containerized on your own location, we don't care. I mean, it's just containerized, it allows you to go that way. But once again, it's the only thing that can scale to the petabytes worth of data that you have to do decent analytics.
Got it. And thank you again to Extreme Networks, AT&T, Ariaka for joining us today. Perry, Jackie, Olin, pleasure to see you all again. Thank you for joining us for this larger session. And to our audience, have a great day. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy.